Just let me take these quarters to Mrs. McGrady." He emptied the quarters from the bowl into a paper bag. "I'll go find my mom outside," said Buster. "We'll wait for you. Hurry." Arthur nodded and ran down the hall. Chapter 2. I wasn't with Arthur for the next few minutes. Maybe if I had been, he wouldn't have had any problems. But as it says in the detective's handbook, when life takes a wrong turn, just try not to get lost. Arthur hurried to the cafeteria kitchen. He could tell that Mr. Morris, the janitor, had cleaned the floors since lunch. "Clean enough to eat off of," Mr. Morris liked to say, but Arthur preferred plates. Mrs. McGrady was on the phone. "What's that, Chief? Have you thought of a name yet?" Arthur waved, trying to get her attention. He didn't want to keep Buster and his mother waiting, but Mrs. McGrady didn't see him. "Smokey, sure, that's a nice name for a dog. I see. Arthur tried to be patient. On the counter next to him were some baking ingredients. There were bags of flour and sugar, sticks of butter, eggs, and chocolate squares. "Where there's Smokey, there's a firefighter. Cute, Chief. Very cute. I just don't want the dog to get a complex. Dogs are sensitive, you know." The bag was getting heavy in Arthur's hand. He went to put it down and accidentally knocked over the bag of flour. "Chester's a fine name for a dog, don't you think? My first husband was named Chester." Since Mrs. McGrady still wasn't watching, Arthur was able to clean up the flour without her seeing him. Some of it had gotten into the bag of quarters, but that was okay, because flour wouldn't do the quarters any harm. Arthur looked at the clock. He had been standing there for more than 5 minutes. "Mrs. McGrady? Excuse me, Mrs. McGrady?" He held up the bag of quarters. She waved her hand, although whether she was waving to Arthur or making motions to the phone, it was hard to know. "I'm just leaving," Arthur began, but Mrs. McGrady, still talking on the phone, had turned away. Arthur couldn't wait any longer. If he did, Buster would have a fit. Mrs. McGrady was bound to be off the phone soon. "I'm leaving the bag on the counter," Arthur called out. "Right here, next to the flour." Then he left. Chapter 3. When Arthur and I arrived at the arcade, I had 2 things on my mind. One was the games themselves. I wanted a return match with Alien Explorer, which had roughed me up the last time. That game needed to be taught a lesson, and I was just the one to do it. The other thing on my mind was finding a mystery to solve. Arcades draw shifty characters the way a garbage dump draws flies. I figured something would come my way if I kept a good lookout. "Buster," said Arthur, "what are you doing with that magnifying glass?" "Just checking things out." Buster was peering closely at a table. "Some mysteries like to play hide and seek." He moved the glass back to Arthur, looking up and down. "Look at you, for example." "What about me?" said Arthur. "You've got white stuff on your clothes." "I do not." Buster looked closer. "Definitely some kind of powder." Arthur looked down. There was a little... Suddenly, he smiled. "Oh, that's no mystery. When I was dropping off the quarters in the cafeteria, I accidentally spilled some flour. It must have gotten on my shirt." Buster looked disappointed. "Well, it could have been a mystery." "Sorry," said Arthur. "Anyway, I thought we were here to play." They made the rounds, playing some games themselves and watching others play too. Neither of them was very lucky at surviving Crash Course 2000 or getting through the night at Haunted Hotel, but Buster did better at Alien Explorer. "Take that, you mangy mutant!" he cried. "Ah, revenge is sweet." The mutant had always done him in before. "Just a few more minutes, boys," Buster's mother called out to them. She was waiting for them outside the arcade.